So welcome back to week 2 of the C10 Ls Swap here on YouTube. This is the full segment. You can watch little bits on my TikTok, same name. But the current situation is I am getting ready to do the valve springs on the LS now that we have the La Chupacabra cam in it, which gave me a complete fight. But yep, today we are starting with valve springs and valve seals. So they're not too hard. Let's flip the camera around. I've already pulled all 8 spark plugs. I've got my compression tester, pulled the Schrader out of the end and put a valve on it so that way I can control, because you only want to put about 20 psi. It's about it in there. I've already got the max spinning rod dual valve spring compressor on. It's already pretty much ready to go. I just got to put the air to it. So nothing special really. Never did check. Is it loose? No. Sometimes they're loose. I need to check and make sure none of my lifters fell down from, putting that other cam in. I don't think they did. I would have hurt them. But, yeah. We're ready to start pulling valve springs now and putting in valve seals, which all comes in the kit, which is straight from Texas Speed, of course. Which I thought it was funny that Texas Speed provides you with Brian Tooley valve springs. Which it's just funny to me. I'm pretty sure that's their competition, right? But yeah, there's the valve springs. I gotta get the valve guides or the valve seals out. The guides are in the heads. Gotta get the valve seals out. I will add a little bit of looby dooby, which will be oil, to them. The valve seals. New valve seals. They send you 2 kinds or the 1 kind? Just the 1 kind. That's cool. Sometimes they'll send you the hatless style. These are the hat style. So, yep. We are ready to put some air to that and start cranking them down and popping them out. Better get a magnet. I need a magnet. There we go. Make sure our spring retainers don't go flying off in outer space. And yeah, we're ready to start popping these. My cherry picker keeps letting down. See, right now it's just sitting on its oil pan. I don't know what's wrong with it. I think it's either got a bad seal inside it or it's low on fluid. But it's getting on my nerves right now, so it's fine sitting the way it is. There's the floor's, if you had a rock or something under it, it would break that oil pan. But I know this floor don't have nothing, so let's get busy pulling these. I'm sorry that's the best view I can get you right now, but here we go. Alright, we got 20 psi in there. Should be plenty enough to do what I gotta do. So let's see if it works. Clearly 20 is not gonna be enough. Let's jump it up to 40. Almost. Usually don't take this much. So there's 60. Alright. That one. A little bit more. those are stuck. That one. That one. Alright. The retainer's off. Undo that one. Undo that. There's our retaining caps. Springs. And I didn't bring a pair of pliers to remove the seals. That was dumb on my part. I see something else wrong. Hold on. Bottom bolt came loose. Let me grab a pair of pliers so I can pull these seals out and replace them. You see the seals? They gotta come out. Alright, so you see I got the new valve seals on. Just gonna take my 13 mil socket, put right on it, tap it with the hammer to seat them all the way. Those are on. Now I'm going to put a little oil on here, on the bottom of the hats. And then we'll pop our new valve springs on. Put our tool back on with the hats. Make sure they're sitting right. Put our washer back on the tool. Put our nut back on the tool. I am actually going to hit this with a little bit of oil because it seems like it's struggling a little bit. Put our 13 back on our impact here. And put these back down on there. Make sure they're on there right. As right as they can get anyway. I don't look like I'm going to be able to get them retainers back in there. But never doubt what you're never sure about. Might have to slide them around. Anyway, it's hard to do like this. Let me get these on and I'll show you. So that's that one. Now what you're going to want to do is, as soon as you get them done, take your dead blow and you're going to want to pop them valves because you want to know if they're seated good. So and you see that's air popping out of here and out of there, so watch it. Yep, they're seated good. Now just got a bunch more to go. So this side's done. About to start on the other side, but new valve springs. You can see the blue tops of all the new valve guides. Pretty easy. That tool from Max Speed and Rods does pretty good. Made it pretty easy. I did this side in about 10 minutes. So jump over, do the same thing the other side. I thought 20 psi was enough, but it's looking like you got to pump it up to about 60 before you can actually get them to pull down. But no big deal. So let's just start on all this nasty now. Yay! So the next step's just pretty easy. I put these out in the order in which they came out, just in case. You're just making sure you're putting them in the right hole that they're supposed to be in. See, that one wasn't in. Just rock them till they can't go down any further. And now some can be about the same because that cylinder will be completely closed, but some are going to be offset. Yeah, but I got to do this whole side, then the other side, and then I'll put the rockers on. So I oiled all of the push rod tips and the valve, the valve tips. Got this side's rocker set up, which I'm probably not going to be able to do this one-handed, but, well, maybe. Maybe not. I've got to twist this up into position. Well, I'll show you here in a second. So these just are self-centering and everything. They're like 17-inch pounds on here, which is like 5 foot-pounds. I just usually just run them in and give them a couple, you know, on there, and they're pretty good. As long as you got your lifter right, or not your lifter, but your let me use my brain here, push rod right, and you can just wobble it just a little bit as you tighten it, and they're good to go. There's no adjusting really. They have no adjustments. They just roll on this rod here. As long as they're straight on there after everything's torqued down, you should be perfectly good to go. Alright, so with all the valve train back together, now comes the long, arduous, tedious part. Cleaning the block. Yeah, you can see all this crap. All that's got to get wire wheeled off and cleaned. Any of the grease in here's got to get wire wheeled and cleaned. But yeah, this is the boring part. If you know how to wire wheel, you know how to wire wheel a motor. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you with that. So let's get to after it's wire wheeled. So our block is now clean, prep wiped. It has been soaked, let it dry completely. I am going to start taping off the heads and everything I don't want painted, which is, you know, trans, heads, oil pan, and we'll start priming this thing. I was going to do the valley. I'm still possibly thinking about it, but I don't know. I was thinking of putting the valley orange, like the block. You won't really, well, you will see it underneath the intake. It'd probably look better than the aluminum does, just the way it is, you know, because it's just that powdery aluminum. So I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out after I get everything taped off. Alright, I have it all taped and primed. It's drying now. Now remember, hit it hard with the primer, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to end up with a bunch of garbage looking stuff, okay? The primer is, you know, just like your car primer. You got to have that good base of primer in order to hide everything, your blemishes, and give something really good meaty for your paint to bite into. But really, prime it a lot. 2-3 coats of primer. Get it really nice, okay? And for you women out there that are watching, it's sort of like foundation on your face, you know? You tell us men that we're all liars and fakes, and then you go spray paint a gallon of, you know, mascara on. Same thing. So, yeah. So it is literally not my favorite color by far. Lord, it's bright. But, yeah. I'm going to hose this on. And by hose, I mean not cover it completely first round, because we don't want that. We want a lot of light coats. A lot of light coats of very, very bright brightness. Me, I don't use this color on anything. Honestly, I do not. They used it to death in the, you know, hot rod era of Small block Chevys, they put it on everything. Literally, it's even said like that, everything. But a bunch of little coats. I nicked the oil pan there a little bit with some of it. I'll have to clean that off. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of orange. And just like that, through the magic of television, the block is painted. It is very, very too bright orange. But there's going to be a lot of brackets covering here that are going to be black. Pulleys are going to be black. Water pump's going to be orange with a big black pulley on it. The valve covers are actually going to be black. The intake, now, we bought a sheet metal intake. It's black. I think it should be orange. Again, we're going back and forth on this. The reason I think it should be orange is with the orange block. Okay, once you have the black valve covers and the motor mounts are on and the harness is on, you're not going to see a lot of orange. But if we put it in there and we paint the intake black, or not black, but orange, when you open the hood, it sort of brings in all of the firewall. So it's going to be orange, and then right up here, you know, orange, then it'll go black again. Okay? It'll look better that way, in my opinion. Now, my opinion don't really matter. It's not my truck. But I'm going to put it in, and then we're going to put the black intake on it and look at it. Okay? I'm still saying he's going to go orange just because it needs it. There's too much black already. You know, black, 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 all black. We need some color in there. So I'm going orange. We'll find out though. Now that the motor's painted, I need to go ahead and do the next sucky part for me. I need to crawl up under here and cut them bolts on that motor mount off. I got a little bit to do today to get, I'd like to get this motor in today. Plain and simple, I want it in. Now in isn't done, just in is in the truck. So what I have to do, again, cut that, put in the motor mounts, trans mounts, and then put it in. But I do need to paint that pulley black, and I do need to clean the overspray off of the oil pan. It's literally just from dust. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go in. Mounts are outside, they're already dry. But, yep, that's the next step, is getting that trans mount out of there. So these are them bugger bolts I gotta cut right here. And I just noticed this actually had, where this was probably a straight 6 truck, somebody had already cut a cross member that was here. So this is a different cross member. Unless it had 2. I don't remember how the original setup was on these, so this one definitely, I have to cut these bolts with a sawzall because I can't get in there with a cutoff wheel. It's not going to be fun. I am under the vehicle, of course. Under this mint truck. But yeah. Let's try to cut them bolt heads off. So unfortunately, even after removing the bolts, it won't come out. I'm tired of playing. I'm just going to cut it straight through the center. It's garbage, so I was trying to save it, but I'm done. Done trying to save it. Trying to get room under here is the fun part. Cut this crap. So I have the mounts ready to go. I am laying out all my hardware to see what I need. These are the frame mounts. They go through the top down on these side plates, the ones in the floor. And these are this way, from left to right, in the sides of the side plates that go into the actual cross member. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt in side plates, but not bolt it to the actual cross member. It'll make it easier for me to get it in there, the motor, and you know, sit in right. Now as far as the actual motor mounts go, I am going to put them in first because they'll just sit right in the hole It's no big deal. But I'm going to work on getting them side plates in, then get the motor mounts in. Alright, so I put the motor mount, or not the motor, the trans mount under there, and the bolt holes don't line up with the frame. So, just to make sure everything's right, considering the plates for it are adjusters, I'm going to put the motor mount plates on first, put the motor in, hold the rear end up with a jack, then figure out where it goes. Because it could be anywhere, really. So, the only way to really do it is to put the motor mounts on first, then put on the trans mount onto the motor. That's the only way I can make sure that the motor is sitting, in its spot, because again, the trans mount actually has a slot. Right there, if you can see that. It has a slot, so it can move back and forth a bunch, and these motor mounts are universal, so they slide back and forth a bunch. So, it's not exactly, drop in. You do have to adjust, and that's what I'm going to do. So, got all my motor mount bolts together. I'm going to slide up under here, bolt them on. I believe they're 14s as well. And then when they're done, I'll basically be done till probably tomorrow afternoon. I'll come back and put the motor in. But it's been a busy day. I still need to vacuum out the back of the 41 after my dad put the carpet on the wheel wells, which looks fantastic. Go back here and take a look. Yeah, no more shiny aluminum. It's blacked out. I like the red carpet. I kept it, but you can see it's dirty. I gotta vacuum it all out. I gotta vacuum the front floorboards out. And I'm gonna try to wash these wheels and stuff, get them clean before tomorrow. So I got too much to do and not enough time to do it, because the car show's tomorrow. Might win something, so I'm trying here. Yeah, but right now, let's put these motor mounts on. Got the poly bushings and the sleeves. Those need greased up and put in. I guess I could put them on after. Or I can do it before, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. So we'll grease them up, put them in the mounts, and then bolt the mounts on. Let's get busy. Alright, about to slide under and get the motor mounts put on. Really need a wireless mic. But yeah, slide under here. Things about in the middle. What are you doing? Oh, dumping scraps? Something they're going to grab by themselves. I'll have to get the wrench under there. But yeah, those look good. Tough to put on, but they look good.